Hi, my name is Tom Jablonski. I'm going to be giving a brief demo of Microsoft Dynamics Business Central distribution. To start this demo, I'm going to go into our items list within Business Central. This is a really snazzy looking item list. I like this version of it with our items because it shows really nice high resolution pictures of our items within the system. We do have 3 different versions of this that you can look at. Here's the small tile, smaller version of the picture, and then we have it where it's just a list view. This is for the accountants in the room. I prefer to look at the tall tiles of this to be able to look at these pictures. So if I'm a salesperson trying to sell things to my customers and I'm physically with them, I can actually bring this up and showcase these pictures to our customers to make sure we're talking about the same item. And I find that to be really handy within the system. But along with this is it is actually showing us really good data about each of these items. It shows me the item number, the description, the current pricing of it, and then how many pieces we have on hand currently within our system. Off to the right, as I select any of these, I get to see a lot of really good information, and I haven't even gone into the card yet to actually look at all the specific details about this item. I can look at my costing methods and all sorts of details here and look at my quantities on orders, on sales orders, and on hand, all sitting within the system here. And also any of the attributes that we might be tracking about our items are all going to be listed in here. And so I haven't even gone into it, but when I click into this, I get to come in and take a look at all of the details about all of my items. So it's a very good, competent system to be able to deal with all of the situations you might have. But just some of the things to highlight, right? You can do replenishment, meaning that you either purchase or you produce these either through an actual manufacturing order or just an assembly order, which would just bring a number of items together. You can do different types of planning out here with fixed reorder quantities, maximum quantities, lot for lot, order for order kind of stuff. So there's lots of detail in here about our item cards, and that'll be covered in a future video. If I back out to my main screen again, we're going to go in and we'll cover our vendors really quickly. Similar to our items, this is where we've got our list view of it. Again, it's the same options about, the list or the tall tiles or the small tiles. Again, over here, I get to start to see information about my vendors. I can drill back either using the amount field here for the balance. So they owe us $69.79 currently. I can click on that and we owe them $69.79. And it lets me go in and actually see all of the invoices that make up that value. I can see any purchase orders, purchase invoices I have outstanding with them currently. And I could even look at all of my posted invoices sitting in the system for this vendor. The customer card pretty much looks the same as the vendor card. And again, I get to click on this, look at all these details. But if I wanted to, I click into it, and then this takes me into the detailed customer card where I can see all of the pertinent data about my vendors. So again, we can come in here, track all the different pieces of detail that we need about each of our vendors. The customer card, vendor card are very similar. We're not going to actually go in there and look at the customer card because it's pretty much the same screen over. If I back out again, what I wanted to do was to just go in and do a simple purchase order. To get there, I have a couple options. Again, I could use my navigation, come in and do purchase order, or I could have put a shortcut into my purchase order by using a bookmark on the page, or I can use my action here, and I'm going to go ahead and use that option right now. So I'm going to click on purchase order, and then I decide I'm going to go in here and I want to use First Up Consulting as my vendor. And so just by looking it up by the name, I don't have to remember the customer's ID or the vendor's ID or the customer ID or anything in the system. I get to type it in English language, and it's going to search out there for anything that had first in the name and then give me back the options I have, and I could have selected First Up. So the more specific I am, if I wanted First Up versus First Federal, I could have typed first space U, and it would have brought me into First Up Consultants. Similar to that search is we can come into here and actually put in our items, not based on item numbers, but again, I can search those out by looking up my item name and then just clicking on that. And it's going to go ahead and let me bring in the London swivel chair. I'm going to say that I wanted to buy 5 of these, and it brought in my current cost from my item card, and this is getting continually updated within the system. Each time that we buy this and we receive against this, that direct unit cost gets updated into the system so that when I come in here, it'll bring in that last direct unit cost. I can add as many items as I needed to. One of the other neat features within our system is this. If I wanted to copy a record above it, I can click my F8 key, which was not what that was supposed to do. There. And it's going to copy that record for me. And so if I had similar things that I was going to do for multiple reasons, maybe I'm a job cost shop and I need to identify the job that this was related to, and these 5 were going to go to one job and this one was going to go to a different job, I would have to list them out. But I don't have to retype everything. That F8 key is a super handy feature within the system to allow me to go out there and do that. I'm going to one of the other features, I brought up job costing. So notice right now, in my purchase order, I don't have anything that's going to call out our jobs. So within our system, by using our sprocket up here in the top, I've got an option called personalize. Personalize, most people think of it as customization. What this is allowing me to do once I go into this mode, and generally most users are allowed to go do this, is it allows me to actually reorder the fields if I see fit. So maybe the way my brain works is different than my coworker's brain, and I want to see things in a certain order because to me, logically, it makes sense for them to be in a certain way. Like I want it to be the item number, description, and then I want my quantity field. And so from that perspective, I can move these fields around, but I also can add additional fields. So if I click at the top here, I'm going to be in the purchase order header. I can click into plus field and you'll note that there's nothing for me to add into this. However, when I click into this section now, this is where we can go in to start adding in different elements. And so within here, if I was a job cost or a project company, I could actually add in the job number that this was going to be applied to. Okay, and so from that perspective, I can come in here and personalize my screens that work for me so that I'm going and navigating the way that I need to navigate throughout the system and I'm not stuck with just one version of a screen. I'm going to go ahead and click Done. I'm going to back out of this screen. And then our sales orders function almost identical. I'm going to go ahead and just bring up an existing sales order and show you that it looks just like it did over there. I can do my searches by my customer name. I can do a search by my item name. And then I'm just going to print this to kind of showcase to you how it looks when we go ahead and do this. And this leverages Microsoft Word for the output. And there we go. So there's our sales order that we could send off to our customer.